you'd be in perpetual controversy and nothing would happen. So they went with the term delegated. So it was clear that it had to be a power given, but let's not worry about whether it says 2 or 3 or A or the. That otherwise you get into unproductive arguments. So now we have 10 amendments. Is there any amendment in the Constitution of the United States that doesn't have corollaries in at least some state constitution?
What are corollaries?
Well, there's the Second Amendment, which recognizes your right to keep and bear arms. And that was expressly written out in the Pennsylvania Constitution. So, in essence, there's nothing new. Okay? In New Hampshire, it was implicit when you looked at Article 2, which says you have the right to enjoy and defend life and liberty, acquire, possess, and protect property. Well, unless you have the right to keep and bear arms, how do you defend life and liberty? How do you protect property? You can't. So it's implicit in New Hampshire and Massachusetts for that matter. It's explicit in Pennsylvania. So that would be a correlating right. Is there any item in the National Bill of Rights that you don't see in the State Bill of Rights? Yes. There's one that I know of. I could be wrong. There could be more. There's one I'll tell you. Congress shall make no law respecting religion. Why would they have added that? Now, you've been told, oh, there's this wall of separation of church and state, and I suspect you're smarter than that. But what exactly did it mean when they said Congress can make no law respecting religion?
That they can't make a certain religion for the whole country.
Exactly. Why would that be important?
So, because that's what they want to make fun of, they can't make fun.
Not exactly.
Because if they all like believe in religion,
Nope.
Wouldn't they be taking our rights away from us by deciding for the whole country? The
Well,
religion
but think about this: deciding for the whole country. But that doesn't appear in any of the state constitutions. Think about this for a second. Go ahead.
there could be a state religion.
There you go. New Hampshire was Protestant until 1871. Massachusetts was Congregationalist. Connecticut was Baptist. The southern states, though not necessarily declared, were Episcopalian. You read the, I think it's the New York Constitution of 1776, and the oath of office reads like a creed of faith. You swear that you believe in the Trinity, that Christ is the Savior, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I mean, it's real specific. It's not, you aren't going to be Jewish or Muslim, okay? It isn't going to happen. Matter of fact, you probably aren't going to get to be Unitarian, because it required that you believe in the Trinity. The Unitarians didn't believe in the Trinity. That was the chief thing there. That's why it's Unitarian, one unit, as opposed to triune. So that's the one thing, because most of the states, except New York, so it couldn't have been New York, it had to be New Jersey. Most of the states had their own state religions to one degree or another. And the issue was they couldn't allow the national government to supersede the religions of the states. Now, what else can you take? Now, we need to analyze. I mean, I love to analyze constitutions. That's I don't know whether it's a hobby or a profession, but it's something I do. Let's look at Article 1 in the Bill of Rights. Everybody have it? Okay. Anybody want to read? Well, we'll read it in phrases. So from the beginning to a semicolon, okay, and then to the next semicolon. And I'm going to challenge you here. New Hampshire has in its Constitution, Part 1, Article 32. And I'm just going to read this to you because I'm going to challenge you with a question. Okay, New Hampshire Constitution, the people have a right in an orderly and peaceable manner. Now, okay, again, listen to this because you're going to hear this. It exists in Maryland, it exists in Massachusetts. Okay, it's going to sound very much like the First Amendment. The people have a right in an orderly and peaceful manner to assemble, consult upon the common good, give instructions to their representatives, and to request of the legislative body, by way of petition or remonstrance, that's written or spoken, redress of the wrongs done them and the grievances they suffer. So that's a petition for redress of grievance. When you've been injured by the government, you have in New Hampshire, and you still have in New Hampshire, it's the only one that still exists, still have in New Hampshire the absolute right to go before the legislature and make petition for redress that's to be made whole for the wrongs done you and the grievances you suffer. So now, who wants to start off First Amendment? No volunteers? Okay.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
Okay. Now, we have in the New Hampshire Constitution, despite the fact that we were a Protestant state, we have a prohibition that no one can stop you from exercising your religion as long as you do not disturb the public peace or anyone else in their worship. Okay, who wants to take the next phrase? Okay.
Or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
Okay. Now, there's a big controversy here. The controversy, people are saying, well, I have the right to redress before the Congress. And the federal government says, oh, no, you must have your redress before the judiciary. What does the First Amendment say? Does it tell you who you have redress before? It doesn't. Well, let's take out intervening words. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of a religion or prohibiting the free exercise of. Let's see, how do I do this? Well, what I want to point out is that that clause that protects your right to petition the government for redress of grievances, the subject of that sentence is the Congress. It doesn't say anything about that article regarding the judiciary, does it? Or the president. It's Congress before whom you have the right of redress. Do we have a pattern for that? Well, sure. New Hampshire Constitution, Massachusetts Constitution, I believe Pennsylvania had it originally. Okay, had an express right of redress before the legislature. Well, if they were going to codify in the national constitution a right of redress, where would they take their example from? The states, their own national constitutions. That's where they would take their. They wouldn't do something different, would they? Now, most of the states have traded their right of redress before the legislature to petition processes Massachusetts has a petition process. Oh, it sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? That somebody can get a whole bunch of people to sign up and try and change a law, which of course the legislature is obligated to recognize, right? No.